There, we got 2 days to go, and we got a game to wet our whistle tonight, right? Maryland hosting Indiana basketball. Then Friday night, it's not the granddaddy of them all, but it's going to be close. Indiana, Oregon, playing really for the national championship, because whoever wins that game, I think is going to win the next game, the national championship game in Miami. I think at Hard Rock Stadium, I think that is the way this thing's going to go down. I think Indiana's going to win Friday night. So we'll talk about that coming up. We're going to talk about Chris Ballard. He's going to talk to the media tomorrow morning, and we're going to hear some things from him, and I'm going to talk about what he's going to say. I'll tell you what he's going to say before he says it. We'll get to all of that. We'll talk about the Indiana basketball game tonight at Maryland. Pharrell Payne is not going to play tonight, and so you got to feel like Indiana's got a hell of a chance to be able to win this game. Without Payne, that is a different team, and Payne hadn't played in a while. He had a horrific injury about a month ago. He's going to stay on the shelf tonight as the Hoosiers visit College Park. We'll see what happens there, but Indiana should get that win. And getting a win in the Big Ten is a big deal, especially on the road for this team. You hold court at home. You hold serve there. And then you steal a couple on the road, and you got a shot at going to the NCAA tournament. This team's going to have to shoot well in order to win. This is Inside Indiana Sports Now for Wednesday, January 7th, 2026, brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill, the best dentist in the world. Call him. Make him your dentist. You can do it today. I made that call 33 years ago. I've never gone to anybody else since. 317-849-2933 is the number. Ask for Julie. Tell her that Kent told you to call. Make sure and become a member. Send out another book today. We're out of books. I don't have any more books. I'm going to order some more, but I don't have any right now. If you want to become a member at the all-meal deal level, you're going to get a book, but it's going to take a minute because I've got to order them. They got to put them in a box. They got to ship them here. Probably have to print them, and so it's going to be a minute. But you do get to participate in the very, very special Coffee with Kent on Saturday mornings, when members only get a chance to come here and kind of talk to each other, talk to me, I talk to you, and it's very casual, and it's fun and enjoyable. And I tell you the truth just like I do here. There's no special version of the truth. You're either telling the truth or you're not, and I try to tell the truth all the time. So that's what you get. Whether you're a member or whether you're not, you get the truth. That's what we do. Become a subscriber. When you're a subscriber, you get a chance to win a prize. So this is going to be subscribers only, as all prizes are. This Fernando Mendoza Heisman Trophy t-shirt, we're going to give away during this show. All right, we are not going to do it utilizing the Fabulous Prize Wheel. There are no tickets affixed to the Fabulous Prize Wheel. But what we are going to do, you're going to use the phrase that pays, which is go IU. And I'll scroll back at the point at where I'll just scroll, and where it stops on the comments, that's a person who wins, and that person is going to have to DM me. You can do it once, by the way, Charles. All right, one time, Brad, thank you. You get to do it once, and the scroll is binding, and then you got to DM me your name and address, all right? And you get the t-shirt. No first-time winner, thing or anything like that. Everybody can be a part of it. Go IU, and if we land on your comment that says Go IU, and I'll announce your handle, you send me a DM on Twitter or X with your name, address, and zip code, and I will get that off to you expeditiously, probably tomorrow. It won't be there in time for the Peach Bowl, but it will certainly be there in time for the national championship game. All right. Smash that like button, for goodness sake, and make sure you're a subscriber now. All right? If you're a subscriber and you do the Go IU, you're in. If you're not a subscriber and you do the Go IU, I got nothing for you. So become a subscriber. It doesn't cost you nothing to subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button. If you want to make a comment, or if you want to make a donation, no big whoop. But please include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on the channel. There you go. All right, let's talk about Chris Ballard and what he's going to say tomorrow. when he speaks to the media. And by speaking to the media, I mean speaking to you, the fans. And as soon as he's done, we'll post it on YouTube. You can't run these things live, or I would. So we'll post that expeditiously after Chris Ballard finishes talking. He's going to talk about how no one is more disappointed in himself than he is. No one self-flagellates at the level of Chris Ballard. That's what he's all about. At the end of the season, when they don't make the playoffs, and that's been for the last 5, he's gotten up in front of the media and everybody and said, it's on me. Look, it's on me. I know it's on me. Look, no one's more disappointed than I am at the performance of this team and the roster I put together. We have got to make the playoffs. He's going to say all of that stuff again. All right, a little self-flagellation goes a long way with me. He's going to work to prove Carly Ursay-Gordon was right to give him another year, his 10th. He's going to dedicate himself to... I don't think he's going to go as far as to say he needs to be more urgent or he promises to be more urgent, use more urgency. I don't think that's going to come up because then the obvious question, like we don't know Carly Ursay-Gordon well enough. We don't talk to her enough to say, why weren't you that urgent before? But we would do that with Chris Ballard because we do know him well enough. He will lament injuries. But he's not just going to talk about the obvious ones like Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson and Mooney Ward. He's also going to talk about Justin Wally. Because Justin Wally, 3rd-round pick out of Minnesota, that dude, before he got hurt, he looked like he was going to be a starter and a really good starter at corner. And I hope he winds up getting back. And he's going to give us an update on Wally and his injury status and when they expect to have him back. And I hope he's back in time for OTAs because he's got some ground to make up. But, man, did he look good in camp. And Chris Ballard, when he says that, he ain't going to be blowing smoke up your ass. He's going to be telling you the truth then. He will be non-committal about Alec Pierce as a pending free agent. Because I got to tell you the truth. I don't know that Alec Pierce is eager to come back. Alec Pierce, not that he's got anything against the Colts or against the town of Indianapolis or Colts fans or anything like that, but you only get so many bites at this apple. And so if he can sign a contract for as much or a little bit more than the Colts are offering, and it's with a team that gives him a chance to compete for a championship, it would not surprise me if Alec Pierce decided to seek employment elsewhere. It just wouldn't. I think Chris Ballard's going to say we're going to try to keep him, but there's a limit to the amount that they can spend on Alec Pierce. And if somebody offers him more money, there's very little that the Colts can do. I think it's going to come up. I'm not sure he's going to say it in exactly those words. He'll probably say, look, before he says that stuff. And then it'll be in mostly those words. I don't blame Alec Pierce. If you were employed by the Colts, and you had just spent your what is this, Alec's 3rd season here, 4th season here, and you were seldom used, although you did get to 1,000 yards this year, but you had to lead the NFL in yards per catch in order to get to 1,000, and you feel like this is a treadmill that's never going to stop. This is 3rd year, right? He came in with Steichen. Anyway, 9-8, 8-9, 8-9. That's what we've seen. That's what he knows here. He sees this mediocrity, and he may believe, because he's seen nothing but that that's all he's going to get. And you really can't blame him for that. What would you do if you were Alec Pierce? Would you stick around just out of loyalty? Or would you leave for, if you say you wouldn't leave for more money, you're probably lying. When I tell you I would not leave for more money, I think you would believe me because I've done that before. I've chosen not to leave for more money. Oh, this was his 4th season. Alec Pierce, 157 catches, never more than 47. That was this year. 84 targets, that's a career high. 1,003 yards, that's a career high. 6 touchdowns. He had a nice nice year. It's 41 first downs on 47 receptions. That's pretty serious. More money, more problems. There's no doubt about that. You know, in Landman, Billy Bob Thornton says, you know, guys with private planes, they're not as happy as people without private planes. I bet that's true, but it would be fun to find out. I know some people with private planes, like serious private planes. I don't know. They seem pretty happy to me. I know Billy Bob Thornton without a private plane that he owns in that show, at least. It's Monty's private plane anyway. It seems like Billy Bob Thornton is not a very happy guy in Landman. He will also be non-committal about Anthony Richardson and whether he's going to return. He'll say he's under contract, which is true. And he'll say that Anthony Richardson has a vision problem, which is true. They expect that that'll be cleared up by the time we get into the shank of the offseason. But I think the ship sailed on Anthony Richardson. I don't think that this team feels like they can count on him. So I don't think they will count on him. I think that's kind of where we are with Anthony Richardson, but they're not going to say that. Chris Ballard is certainly not going to say that. Let me ask you this. So you've got Anthony Richardson, and you've got Riley Leonard, and you don't know about Daniel Jones. Daniel Moore played basketball for Indiana. I've done that like 3 times. But Daniel Jones may or may not be ready to go by the onset of training camp. Would it not be prudent in order to keep like that some stability within that room, Anthony Richardson, and so if something does happen to Daniel Jones, as is kind of a regular occurrence during his career, wouldn't it be nice to have Anthony Richardson as a potential starting quarterback, given the fact that as a starter, he's got a winning record for the Colts? I don't think that'd be a bad move. I could see it going either way. But I think that bridges have been burned a little bit. Trust has been lost. And Shane Steichen's got to trust his quarterback. We'll see. We'll see what he says tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Jones missed the entire season. I think I know where you're going here, John McCord. Where you're going is, when was the last time the Colts obfuscated and kind of gave us a little bit of a shining where it came to the quarterback position and the health of that starting quarterback? Have we ever gone through that before? When have we not gone through that? The roster is going to be different, Ballard will say. He will not use the word urgency. Jones will be cheap. If by cheap you mean $33 to $35 million a year, might be cheap. 4 years, $35 million each, somewhere in that neighborhood, $30 to $35 million. Is that cheap? Hey. And if they don't do that, if he doesn't want to sign that deal and puts the Colts in a position where they have to franchise him, they're going to franchise him. Carliers say Gordon used the word urgency often on Monday, and then again in the letter to fans that was published at Colts.com yesterday. Urgency. Why more urgent now? Why? Weren't you urgent before? And if not, why not? Why weren't you more urgent? That's the question. All right, let's talk about IU football. Peach Bowl just 2 days away. What is Indiana's special sauce? What does Curt Cignetti do that is so different from everybody else that Curt Cignetti, in 2 years, can completely flip this program and put them in a position where they are national champion favorites right now as we enter the Final Four stage of the college football playoff? There is no special sauce. You know what it is? It's standards are set. They are enforced. They are recruited to. They develop, they recruit, they retain, and they, players, need to be where they're supposed to be and do their best. That's it. That's the whole thing. That isn't special sauce. That's a standard that is then enforced with consequences that lead to accountability. That's what that is. That's called leadership. I think coaches, college coaches, are freaking nuts. If they think that's special sauce, it's also recruiting and identifying talent in the transfer portal at a level that other guys just aren't. So other coaches are either not working as hard as Curt Cignetti, or they are unwilling at the Cignetti level to hold players accountable. That's it. I think you got a bunch of bad coaches in college basketball. A bunch of bad, if they were business managers, they'd get fired in a minute for behaving the way they do and failing to lead in the way they fail to lead. Curt Cignetti, you put Curt Cignetti in a boardroom, and a basic understanding of what the business is, kind of the understanding that he has for that business, that he has for football, and his business would be at the top of the pyramid, just like Indiana football is at the top of the pyramid. And that no athletic director understood this until Scott Dolson did? What the hell is going on with college football? What is going on? All these, do you know, like Alabama fans are whining and whining and whining and saying, why didn't we hire Curt Cignetti? Why didn't we hire Cignetti? If they had hired Cignetti, the state of Alabama would have burned down. They would have thought that the AD at Alabama had lost his mind, that he had gone haywire and needs to get his meds refilled, they would think, if they hired Cignetti. Everybody on the back end wants an AD to do the right thing. But doing the right thing on the front end? No. Because the right thing would often be the unpopular thing, and the unpopular thing will get you fired. Ridiculous. So Dante Moore can be hurried into picks. Talk about the game a little bit. He threw some picks against Indiana, and in the college football playoff, I think he's thrown 3. So now they played 2 games. If Indiana is able to win, you know, I got to tell you, I read this in a thing. Indiana fans have become insufferable. I don't think so. I think we're just happy. I think everybody's happy. Aren't you happy? We're happy. We're not insufferable. By the way, I don't do this in the middle very often, but we're giving away a prize, and that prize will be gotten by somebody who's watching today. And you got to watch to the time we do this, and you've got to use Go IU, the phrase that pays. I'm just going to scroll back in the comments, and wherever it lands, that is the person who is going to wind up getting this sweet Fernando Mendoza Heisman t-shirt that I bought yesterday at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. All right, so the phrase that pays, Go IU, and you got to be a subscriber, so hit that subscriber button. We will cross-check prior to mailing. Who do we want in the national championship game? Not to discount the need to win in the Peach Bowl, or that, like, the likelihood. I believe that Indiana is going to win. We're talking about it like it's a fait accompli a little bit, but you know, that's how you talk about these things. Who would you rather have? We're going to watch a game tomorrow night between Miami and Ole Miss. Who would you rather have? Me, I would rather have Ole Miss, because Ruben Bain is a bad man. Ruben Bain has 16 pressures in this college football playoff. Not in the season this year. In the 2 games of the college football playoff, Ruben Bain has 16 quarterback pressures. That's it. I don't want to play against a guy like that, because you play against a guy like that, all of a sudden, what do you got? You got strip sacks. I don't want strip sacks. Maybe Indiana's going to be able to protect Mendoza from a guy like Bain. Maybe that's the case. That'd be nice, but I'd rather play the team without Ruben Bain. Charles says, I saw White and Frankie were out, Kent. Yes, true. Didn't love it, but love us. -4. I'll say 31-16 because they get a luck TD somehow and 3 field goals. Heisman Mendoza shines. Mendoza has 4 games this season where he has thrown either as many or more touchdown passes as incompletions. Now, one of those games was against Indiana State, but the others were like Illinois and Alabama and Wisconsin. That guy is dealing. And you can see online now, a lot of people are breaking down Mendoza. And they're saying, well, he's making NFL reads and NFL throws. Yes, because he works harder than anybody. That's part of the special sauce. Go figure. Curt Cignetti recruits people who work hard at their craft. Special sauce. Are you kidding? You know, like Oregon has something like 80% of their scholarship guys are blue chippers. Indiana, 8%. Because it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And being a 4-star or a 5-star as you graduate high school doesn't mean a damn thing 3, 4, 5 years later as you wrap up your college football career. Third down success rate, really, really key for Indiana. 56.5% success rate on third down. That's the best in the country, and the defense allows only 28% conversion, a 28% conversion rate. That is the second best in the country. You want to know how Indiana's doing? Like, I like to reverse engineer things every once in a while, but I don't think you need to reverse engineer that. I think you'll also find that they're really good on first down and really good on second down. And that leads to be really good on being really good on third down. Like, it's easier to be good on third down when you're 3rd and 2 than 3rd and 8. And you become 3rd and 2 because on first down and second down, you pick up 8 yards, right? If you're 3rd and 8, you only picked up 2. And what Indiana does not do, and I mean ever, pre-snap penalties, you commit a pre-snap penalty, sit your ass down. Cignetti's got no problem sitting a guy down if he doesn't have the discipline to be able to hold his three-point stance until the ball is snapped. So, guys hold their three-point stance. Consequence. Activity, consequence. That activity will cease. I love you, but I really don't think Mendoza will be like that in the NFL. Why? I'm interested. I'm not being a smart ass and asking why. I'd really like to know why. What does he do that doesn't project toward a positive NFL career? Now, what could happen, because AR may be released, but I think AR is going to get traded for a 6th-round pick. That's my guess. Maybe a 7th. 6th, maybe shooting high. But what Mendoza does is make throws really, really accurately. But what could happen if he goes number 1, he's likely to go to a team that has just a nonsense offensive line. And they can't protect him, and he's going to get rattled, because if you get hit and hit and hit and hit, it's going to rattle your ass at some point. Mendoza knows how to read a defense. He'll be good in the NFL. I agree he's going to be good as long as the protection is reasonable. Not great. I like Mendoza to be more of an athletic Jared Goff, honestly, or a much better, more athletic Tony Romo, like a non-turnovers cerebral quarterback. I agree. I think he could be. I think he's going to be as good as he wants to be, and I think he wants to be pretty damn good. I think he's going to work his ass off. He'll be the first in the building. He'll be the last to leave. Hoosiers tonight in College Park against Maryland. Pharrell Payne out. Indiana going to win this game. The Chicago Cubs trading. The game, by the way, is at 6:30, which means it's over by 8:30, and we'll do a live postgame immediately following this game. On the road, the Hoosiers haven't historically shot well. I hope they do tonight. Cubs trading for Edward Cabrera. You've seen him pitch for the Marlins. He had 26 starts this past year. Had about a 3.5 ERA. A bunch of strikeouts in 100 and some odd innings. First time in his career that he's thrown for more than 100 innings. So he's a guy who is on the shelf a little bit. He can't get dinged up. But this gives the Cubs a rotation of Cabrera, Horton, Boyd, Talon, and Imanaga. That's pretty serious. Is Buckner going to retire? Is that a rumor? Look, DeForest Buckner is thinking about what he's going to do next. He got the neck repaired, surgically repaired. They said that the surgery was a success. But he understands that he's closer to the end than the beginning. And he understands that the neck is nothing to mess with. Like the brain is the hard wiring, that's Mooney Ward. And the spine, yikes, That's kind of the transmission. You don't want to have neck problems, serious neck problems for the rest of your life. So Manning came back after neck surgeries. Maybe DeForest Buckner can, but playing D-line as opposed to playing quarterback, a little bit different challenge. You know what I mean? Like defensive tackles are getting hit and hitting with their face almost every play. That's just the way it is. We hope for the best, we fear the worst. Now, we're going to give away the t-shirt. Again, I'll give you one more chance. All right, Go IU is the phrase that pays, and you got to use that in a comment, and you must be a subscriber. So hit the subscribe button and hit, and Go IU needs to be your live comment, and I am going to scroll back, and we will see where it lands, and one of you will win this very sweet Cream and Crimson Fernando Mendoza Heisman t-shirt, which we will put in the mail expeditiously. All right, so I will, and I'm going to look up as I do it. We scroll back and scroll back and scroll back. Let's see if we get a Go IU. We did. IU Elf. IU Elf's the winner, and I missed your comment, which is unusual. And this goes back to 458. Go IU. Tayton had a good game last game. Tonight, it will be Nick. Well, you know it's not going to be Tayton because Tayton didn't miss a shot. You know, he was 4 for 4 shooting threes. Tayton Connerway is not going to go 4 for 4 every night or in consecutive nights. So one thing we will give away, and I'll even stand to do this, show you that I am fully ambulatory. This sweet gamer, this is an Indiana, this is what they wear, I believe, in the games. You got the little name tag down here and whatnot. I bought this at Assembly Hall yesterday. Sweet 150. It's a double X, but double X's hang good on you don't want a jersey that's too little, too small. So we got this. We're going to give this away at some point between now and when Indiana, knock wood, wins a national championship. We will talk to you later tonight after Indiana completely destroys Maryland, we hope. More head knocking, wood knocking. I would wager that Anthony Richardson will be released with some kind of injury settlement. He's got all his money. Like he's guaranteed every dime. They're not going to have to settle anything. He gets the money. 100% of his $34 million is guaranteed. So he's going to walk out of that place with his money. That's what I bet AR is going to sue. I don't know who you sue. That's a pretty good question. Who do you sue? The equipment malfunctioned. Is it the manufacturer? Is it the team? Who is it? Was he somehow negligent in the way he utilized the machine? I wouldn't do that if I was Anthony. What would be your priorities in the rebuild of the Colts? Man, I think you got to start with the D-line and linebackers. You got to get that front seven of the defense set. And I'm not sure who they got, right? Like Grover Stewart's getting a little bit long in the tooth. Latu made some strides this year. So there you go. Yeah, I don't always see the comments. Sometimes I get rolling and I'm talking. I just don't see them. All right. AR was using it incorrectly as the rumor. He hooked it to his locker. That's interesting. I don't know that. Something broke off and it hit him in the face. We do know that. Moody Ward having too many concussions. Would I retire if I was him? I tend to be a dumbass, but my wife's not a dumbass, so I'd probably want to play, and my wife would say, no. Life's long, so let's enjoy it together for as long as we can. I think that's where I'd be.